Hey, it's Todd the Librarian here, and this is my nonfiction November, and I kind of waffle about this one, believe it or not, but I'm going to go with all nonfiction books this month. I'm going to keep it simple, like I normally do. I'm going to stay with like 5 books, I think. So, oh, and the reason why you don't hear my wife playing a video game is because she's on her laptop and she's watching X-Files. So, yeah, we're pretty hip. So, here we go. This is my November TBR. Now, I think there's, pardon me, but there's some kind of nonfiction thing going on that relates to 4 different subjects: love, scholarship, home, and substance. I don't know if it's a readathon or what it is. So I'm going to try to stick to that. If I screw it up, that's on me. But seriously though, for love, I'm going to go with What My Heart Wants to Tell. And this was written by Verna Slone. And she was born and raised and grew up, and she's like a local celebrity from Knott County, which is a county over from where I live. And this book here was published in 1979. And this lady, she was trying to negate the stereotypes that Southern people are associated with. Me personally, I've dealt with this. I went up north and applied for a job to be a mental health aide, and they actually asked me if I could read and write because I'm from Kentucky. So, yeah, didn't much care for that, but that happens. That's all right. So I told them just barely. Of course, when I filled out the daily logs, I threw some words in there, and they're like, "Oh, what's this mean?" I'm like, "Well, get you a dictionary, look it up." But anyway, I met this lady here, Verna Slone. She was a guest speaker in one of my sociology classes, and surprise, surprise, I was one of those students that spoke up. Granted, I was 31 when I started college, but I was in the lounge later, and I was just sitting there minding my own business, and her niece came up to me and she goes, "Verna May would like to talk to you." And I guess it was about some of the questions I asked her in class. So I went over and got to sit down and talk to this lady, and it was great. I was thinking I told Lacey, Books of Kentucky, that I hadn't got to meet an author, and I had forgot about Verna May, which is on me. So, but What My Heart Wants to Tell. It's a great book, and it really explains that, hey, Southern people from Kentucky, wherever, you know, we're not as bad as the stereotypes make us out to be. Obviously, I'm literate, so are a lot of other ones. Okay, scholarship. That would be Night Comes to the Cumberlands. As you can see, I've read this book here, and it was part of my research for Gray Sun and the Colored Rain, which is my novel about life in a segregated coal camp. But this book is a story of eastern Kentucky and basically Virginia and West Virginia, the coal fields, and pretty much tells how the big companies came in, pretty much stole land from people, put them to work, and when you were in a coal camp, you were pretty much, I don't know how to put this, but you lived in their house. You didn't get paid real money. You got paid in script, and you spent your money at the company store. So you were pretty much a servant of these companies. And then, yeah, I still have bugs in here, sorry. If something happened, if the husband was killed in the mines or whatever, the company a lot of times would be kind enough to give them a few days, and then they had to get out and they'd move another miner in. So that's Night Comes to the Cumberlands by Harry Caudill, and it is a great book. Okay, number 3, the subject is home. I'm going to go with Running on Red Dog Road, and this is about growing up in a coal camp, which I pretty much did. Where I live now is an old coal camp. This house is an old coal camp. I built this crappy section on here, but there's a main house over that way that we're renovating. And this is by Drema, Berkheimer. And oddly enough, there's a holler just up the road here that's called Red Dog Holler, and that's why I picked this up. And I want to say someone else suggested this on BookTube. I just about bet money on that, but that has to do with the home because, like I said, I pretty much grew up in this coal camp here. Funny story, the last coal company to come up in here and actually mine a lot of coal, they bought everybody out that they could, but my family decided they weren't going to sell out, so they bought people out and tore homes down. So now just mostly my family live up in here. My uncle's over this way, relatives down this way, all the other homes have been tore down because the coal company didn't want to have to deal with people living here, so they bought people out, but we didn't sell out, and that's how I wound up with this place. So, Running on Red Dog Road. And number 4, this is Substance, and I'm going with The Shadow of Slavery, and this is by Pete Daniel. And this is really about how 45 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, they were still pretty much making people slaves, and you know, the Jim Crow laws and all that, and how we started you know, getting away from that mindset, and you know, it was just a terrible thing. But see, I grew up in the 60s, and I remember the Civil Rights Movement and all that stuff, so I actually can't remember where I bought this book at, but I found it when I was going through some of my stuff, and so I figured I would read it. And so that was Substance. So that is my November nonfiction TBR. I picked some thin books, which I think I might be able to handle. So my thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking around, and I will see you later. Bye.